The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, worldwide on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, the DMZ Radio Network, and the Canadian News Network, and our growing family of broadcast affiliates and satellite distribution systems throughout the world. 1-800-610-7035 is worldwide toll-free. My email is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. We're talking about Sasquatch this hour, or Bigfoot. Our guest this hour is Jeff Yelek. He is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. Now, he's been interested in Bigfoot from a young age. He grew up in Colorado and heard stories for many years. Now, he and his wife and the other members of the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies are putting it all together. And joining me now is Jeff Yelek. And Jeff, welcome to the X-Zone.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Jeff, what got you interested in Sasquatch in the first place?
I was interested from a young age. My dad took me to the show Mysterious Monsters. I believe that came out in '76. And that was just, that kind of got my interest in it. And then I, of course, seen the Legend of Boggy Creek. And it just kind of, every kind of book I could find, I would read about it and kind of keep up on it, and then it kind of just all seemed like it was up in the Great Northwest until I started learning otherwise, that they're pretty close to home here in Colorado.
Now, what other type of monsters do you have in Colorado? I mean, besides Sasquatch, do you have any other cryptozoological oddities?
Well, there's a lot of old ghost towns, and there's a lot of stories of ghosts, in some of these areas. I'm not really too up on that. We have some other friends of ours that do Sasquatch research here in Colorado, and they're into the paranormal, more ghost part of it too. So it's very intriguing.
How many sightings of Sasquatch do you know of that occur each and every year in Colorado?
We get different reports from different areas, and our group alone, one of our researchers, Robin Roberts, she's seen a total of 7 different individuals over the last couple of years. So per year it could be, we're getting 3 or 4 good reports that people have a good eyewitness, where they actually see a Sasquatch.
Any photos?
We've got one photo that one of our researchers, Ron Peterson, has, and it's on our website. You'll have to go through our Bigfoot photos, and he's got a picture of one that he didn't realize it was in the picture when he took it. And just going back, a friend noticed that there was a picture of there was something off in these woods, so they kind of blew it up, and it appears to be a Sasquatch-like shape sitting off in the woods looking at him.
Is there enough definition on this photo to say beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is a Sasquatch?
Not really. It's just he followed a track line of tracks.
Right.
And then he took a picture of the track line, in which the photo, at the end of the photo in the tree line, ended up being what looks to be a Sasquatch. The thing with the photo is it has a nose, and most reports of Sasquatches have a hooded nose. Mm-hmm. And the nose on this individual, it doesn't have a nose. And other researchers had pointed to the fact that possibly its nose got froze off in the wintertime, and so it lost its nose due to cold conditions. But in the photo, you can see the head and the eyebrow ridge, and there's even a foot sticking up in the bottom corner of the photo.
You and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Jeff, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Exonation, Jeff Yelek is our guest. He's with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies, and their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. That's www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern. The show is then repeated in its entirety throughout the following 24-hour period. If you'd like to send us an email, xzoneradiotv.com, or if you'd like to check us out on any of the social media sites, one simple address, X Zone Radio TV. Like I said, I'll be back on the other side of this break with Jeff Yelek as we continue talking about Sasquatch this hour here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about Sasquatch this hour. My special guest is Jeff Yelek. He is with Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies, and their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. Jeff, tell me, have you ever seen a Sasquatch?
Just little glimpses of them. Not a full face or nothing. Just little dark shapes that dart off when we're out hiking around and trying to interact with them.
Tell me something. With all the digital telephones that are out there that have digital cameras, how come we still haven't seen that all-conclusive photo that Sasquatch is real?
They're very elusive,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my wife had a sighting 4 years ago, and we had cameras set up, and we had cameras pointed in the direction where we were getting a series of rock clacks with 3 on a ridge for interacting with us. We had the cameras on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have them on, and then I walked away because we were getting a lot of action, so I tried to text a message off to our group that we got a lot of action going on. I came back, and she had sitting there, and she was looking up the ridge, and she had a sighting of one walked out behind a tree, and just for a split second, she seen just a side profile of one walked by, and we had the cameras there, so we had an opportunity to get them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the timing's never right. When you're trying to get a photo of these things, just the timing's not right. And the thing with carrying a camera through the woods is you still have to point the object, point the camera at the Sasquatch, and that's kind of it draws them off. It's almost like you're pointing a weapon at them because they're so used to seeing humans with weapons in the woods, and that it's kind of a scary thing probably for them to see somebody with a camera, and that's probably why it's a hard task of getting a photo. We've been close, but just haven't come up with one.
What do we know about Sasquatch? What do we know about the social skills, the raising of young Sasquatch, their life, their death? What do we know?
Not really much of anything. A lot of people speculate that they're in family groups, and we believe they're in family groups. We had interaction with 3 of them, and from time to time we've heard what we thought are younger Sasquatches crying. In one of our areas that we work with the rest of our group, we've heard it sounds like a crying of some kind, kind of a wah wah, of something small. But we never see it, and so you really can't come to the conclusion that it is a Sasquatch. You're just really kind of guessing that that's what it is.
When I was talking about cameras, I was talking about cell phone cameras. So they're even elusive to cell phone cameras?
I had my camera out on an incident that I had last fall, and I'm hiking on a ridge, and I'm getting rock clacks in front of me, and I was responding with rock clacks, and I figured, well, this would probably be a good time to catch some of the audio at least on video. So I pulled out my cell phone, I had it close to my chest, and I'm hiking along, just kind of carrying it, real shaky footage, and you get bits and pieces of rock clacks in it, but I think there's something about the electronics that maybe they can sense. It's all just conjecture, but as soon as I brought out the camera, it seems like all action stops.
When you said that you were interacting with them, how do you do that?
We go out, and we got lucky to find a good spot where me and my wife had been working, and we went out, and first you try wood knocks, and then you see if you get any kind of response from that, and then we got some rock clacks as a response. And
now, you're saying rock quacks or rock cracks?
Clacks.
Clacks, rock clacks.
2 rocks together.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's kind of one. It's different groups in different areas. They use different things. We got one group that uses mainly the wood knocks, and they'll hit on a tree to get a response from you. We have a big wood knock that we got from our central Colorado location once, and the subject was around our campsite about 2 a.m. and just started making a pretty rhythmic banging on a tree stump, we believe, with a limb, and we got that audio on our website. It's just different areas, they do different things, and so you have to kind of try a majority of different things to get them to respond if they want to respond to you.
When you go out onto your Sasquatch investigations, what kind of tools do you take with you? What kind of equipment do you use?
We have a little Sony M10 recorder that we use. we used to use trail cams, but as soon as we put a trail cam at it, it seems like all action would stop. So we stopped using the trail cams, and a lot of times our trail cams would get whited out, whether there's a beam that's so close to it that it makes it white out, or whether there's some kind of outside electrical interference that some people have suggested.
Mm-hmm.
But basically we do have cameras and camcorders, and we have recording equipment. We also have a bionic ear that my wife uses, and we go out and set the recorder up as soon as we get into camp so that it's on 24/7, and then we go through and mark any points where we hear a sound, and then go home and put it on the computer and sit down and listen to it and see what we can pick out of it.
Why do you... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Regular camping equipment.
Okay. Since there's so little known about Bigfoot, how does one learn the proper procedures of investigating the existence of this elusive creature?
We're following the ways that the Native Americans have learned over the years. And we have some friends that have interaction that are Native American. And we go through it. You have to go at it as a real respectful manner.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be, you're in their house. We're going there as visitors into their house, and you don't go in shooting guns off, and you don't go in and we don't carry guns at all. All we have is bear mace, and we haven't had any problems with bears. So that's been fortunate too. But we just go in real respectful and just try to be kind of as calm as you can, and just kind of act like you're not out kind of looking for them. You don't have your cameras out pointed at everything that moves in the weed, in the brush and the weeds, and so.
Why hasn't there ever been, in your opinion, a Bigfoot cadaver found in the woods?
It's believed, and we've gotten reports that people believe that they bury their dead,
mm-hmm.
and we've had kind of, I guess you'd call it, a report where a man said he found some bones and turned in the bones to local law enforcement,
right.
And he goes back up and all the bones have been removed. And it's just stories like that. But we do believe that they bury their dead, and things in the forest, they decompose, and all the different little critters and microorganisms, they eat stuff up pretty fast in the forest. If you're a carcass like a deer left out in the woods, it disappears pretty fast.
Have you checked with the good people at the park services and the game wardens to see if they've had any sightings? And if so, what have been the results of that investigation?
No, we haven't. It's kind of you don't really want to consort with them too much, because it doesn't seem like, we do have some areas where we've
mm-hmm.
gone into some of these parks, and some people have they got their little sighting boards of the different animals,
mm-hmm.
and they've had one that had a Bigfoot on the sighting board, and we asked the ranger about it, and they said, "Oh, that's just somebody joking around." So, I think at one level they know that they exist, but they don't want it known that they know.
Why not?
It's kind of a big kind of a cover up.
Why?
What would you do if you're taking your family camping out in the woods, and there's this big 10-foot tall hairy creature that might come around your camp at night and might even come around during the day. Would you take your wife and your little kids out there? Not a lot of people would.
Well, first of all, I've never heard there be a conspiracy to suppress the information about Bigfoot, because if there is a conspiracy, aren't you wouldn't the powers who are suppressing the existence of Bigfoot actually be doing something against the scientific community? Like, shouldn't we know the existence of this creature or not? And for anybody to say that they're actually there without the physical proof, I find that rather unsettling.
Yeah, I'm no scientist. I'm just
mm-hmm.
just a guy that goes out and tries to get interaction with them. The whole science aspect of it, that's kind of beyond me.
So what are you trying to accomplish?
We're just trying to get different. Basically, this summer we've been trying to take account. We go to different areas and try to see if we can get any kind of interaction and any signs in these different areas that are possible Sasquatch locations. And each year the number of our different areas kind of grows here in Colorado, and we get different reports from different hunters. Hunting season's a good time of year that we get a lot of reports in, people out, making reports and talking about the Sasquatch, or talking about what they think is a possible Sasquatch.
So with all these hunters and the Fish and Game authorities, as well as other law enforcement, I'm sure you must have a lot of loggers in that part of the world. Am I right?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. There's most of the logging right now is going to the deforestation of the pine beetle. They're going through cutting down the trees that have been destroyed by the pine beetle.
But where you guys go, there's a lot of people who go to the woods. Am I correct? Or are they remote?
Yeah, it's pretty much major camping areas.
Yes,
Some areas are pretty remote.
So my question is, if you have all these people, and we're not just talking about in Colorado here, I'm talking about throughout the United States and Canada and other places where Bigfoot is purported to be, and with all the research that's going out and being conducted on Bigfoot, still no proof. And yet so many of you still go out all the time trying to find this, up until now, mythological creature. What drives you? That's the question I'm going to ask you when we come back from this news break. Stand by. Exonation Jeff Yelek is our guest this hour. He is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. And Jeff and I will be back on the other side of this news break as we continue this hour here in the X Zone talking about, you're right, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. We're talking about the one and the same. Apparently, tall, hairy. More about Bigfoot when we come back. Don't go away. Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents US per edition. And don't forget, the X Zone store is now open as well for all of your X Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Jeff Yelek is our guest this hour. Exonation. Jeff is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. Their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. As I was saying before we went to the commercial break, there are so many researchers throughout the United States, Canada, who are all looking for Bigfoot. And, you guys go out, the work you do comes straight out of your pockets. You're the most dedicated group of people that I know. But yet, with all of you out there, there's not even been any trace evidence or any hair evidence that's scat. And if Bigfoot was out there, wouldn't somebody would have found that physical evidence that they could take to the different scientific organizations that are available, who will actually do the verification of the evidence that you guys find? And you find stuff, it's brought to the scientific community, and yet, after all these years, no proof. What keeps you guys going?
It's kind of the thrill of the search. We go out and we do find some hair and different scats, and we save them, and we got some hair saved up, and lately there's been a big Jeff Meldrum's ask for different hair samples as long as they're related to a certain area that that the Sasquatch are at. Lauren Coleman with Crypto Mundo has been asking for hair samples also. But the biggest thrill of it is you're going out there and you're looking for something that nobody else believes in, and you're getting interaction with something in the forest. You're clacking rocks and they're clacking rocks back, and there's something there that won't let itself be seen. And it's the biggest thrill that you can imagine. And me and my wife, we go out and we keep it just me and her, a lot. Just me and her go out, and a lot of things happen when you're around camp, and that a lot of people just don't believe.
Like what?
We've been touched. You're laying in our tent at night, and my wife had her back towards the side of the tent, and last summer, and she felt a hand push on her back, or something pushed on her back, and it wasn't no other animals out there that would be pushing on the side of the tent. And I had heard bipedal footsteps by the side of my tent, and my wife had to go out and water the bush at 1 o'clock, and she went out and did her business, and she came back in, zipped up the tent, and got in her sleeping bag, and then something had walked down the front of the tent 1 o'clock in the morning, and it sounded like a finger running down the side of the nylon tent, and just kind of zip down the front of the tent real quick. And at times like this, you just kind of lay there and you just kind of wait to see if you hear anything else. And the most traumatic experience happened to me is I was with our group, and it was just me and Michael Johnson in his outfitter's tent. And they put me in the corner of the tent. They says, a lot of people have been touched here, and they're sleeping in this corner because it's right next to the woods are thick right behind the tent, and the Sasquatch can get up close to the tent. And I'm laying in the tent, and it's about 2 o'clock, and I can hear the brush kind of moving around outside, and I'm just kind of half awake, half asleep. I don't know, the wind's probably blowing. And so I'm nodding off, and all of a sudden something from outside of the tent, I believe it was on the ground or something, but we've seen some scuff marks in the dirt the next day, but nothing to point to what it was. But something came down and put its hand, I believe it was its hand, down on my head and pushed my head into my cot. And I jumped out of my cot with a loud whoa. And Mike was on the other side of the tent. He got up and, what's wrong? I said, I think I just got touched. Something pushed my head down in my cot, And that it really wakes you up to there's something there, and it's playing with you. And the next morning we didn't see any real evidence of it.
Right.
It's like the ghost of the woods, but there was something there, and something physically touched me.
To your knowledge, has anyone ever been physically harmed by a Bigfoot?
Not that we've come across any reports that nobody has. And there's been instances, and I've had rocks thrown at me when we're out researching, but nothing, physically hit me. And there's no researchers that we know have been harmed by them.
Wow. So have you ever come across a living area where you believe Sasquatch may live? And if so, what does it look like?
It's an interesting complex of different tree structures. In our areas, there's a lot of dead beetle beetle killed tree, and they're just falling everywhere. But there's certain areas where they have stick structures like giant X's that we find, and you have to go up and look and see if you can tell if the tree had grown that way and just fallen. But a lot of times they've been placed there. And we have a different area where they have what we call an asterisk, and it's just kind of a point of 5 different branches laid up inside some trees, and that are pointed in a certain way. And these are large size. We're talking, maybe a half foot long, a foot in diameter, that have been placed there. And one sign that you can tell that the Sasquatches have left this is these branches are leaned up in trees, but there's also big branches supporting the base so that they don't move out of their locations. And we've the one spot we've gotten a lot of action at. I found a tree break last summer, and they had broken a small aspen tree, and it was broken in half, and it was still wet, still moist. I mean, the leaves weren't even hardly drooped yet. And I looked at it, and on a branch next to it, I still have this sample of hair just waiting to send it off. There was a tuft of hair stuck on a branch about 6 foot up, and the tree break, I measured it over, and the aspens, they put off a sunscreen, a white powder in the summertime to protect the tree itself. And the white sunscreen was rubbed off at the 9 foot mark.
Wow.
Well, something had reached up, grabbed this tree and snapped it over, rubbed off the white sunscreen, and left an imprint of almost like a grab mark. And on the other side, it looked almost like fingernail cuts into the bark itself.
Could that have been a bear?
I never seen a bear in this area, but the bears are everywhere. But I don't see why a bear would need to break a branch off. There's no reason why it should. And being that far off the ground, I just kind of find it impossible that a bear is doing it.
But it is possible.
The thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
At that same location, we had a recording set up, and the next day I found this tree break, and I don't listen to the recording until we get back home and download it to the computer. But I got a grunt of something, and then a tree break being broke in the audio, and maybe it's the same tree I found. I'm not sure, but it all points to there's something there. And if it was a bear, it was right close to our camp, and we would have had a bear in our camp because we leave our food out. It's not a smart thing to do, but when we know that we have Sasquatch near us, nothing else bugs us.
So let me ask you a very pointed question. What do you think Sasquatch are?
That's the question everybody wants to know. I've never actually seen one, but all indications that I feel that they're close to humans in a way, but then there's still an animal-like side to them, and so it's almost like maybe it is a relic hominid that everybody talks about. It could be. I've never seen one up close to really put a definite finger. Well, that's a Sasquatch, but does it look more human, or does it look like a gorilla, like some people say? I just haven't seen one to actually put a good definition on it.
Do you think they migrate at different times of the year?
They follow the food sources, and if they find areas that is got good running water, I'm sure they would stay if the weather permits. But they pretty much follow the game animals, and if you know where you can find the game animals at, and you have signs of Sasquatch there, you can pretty much get action there year round. But with the snow and everything in the wintertime, that they know that they leave tracks, and they know that people can see their tracks that they leave, so they try to they're more elusive in the wintertime, we're finding, than they are in in the summertime because, just they're leaving their tracks behind, so they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to.
So are they vegetarians or are they meat eaters?
I believe they're both vegetarians and meat eaters. We've had areas where we've found spiral fractures on the hind legs of deer. The legs have just been twisted off, and I'm not sure what other animal would twist off a deer leg like that. And we found twist off deer legs, and there's been areas where you see deer tracks, and they've been picked up, and all of a sudden there's something big's taken over, and the deer tracks disappear, like something might have grabbed the deer, like a scuffle in the dirt. But it's all hard to say if you're not there to see it.
Do you think it's better that Bigfoot stay a mystery, or what do you think would happen if one day Bigfoot was discovered to be real?
It'd be nice to know that all of our efforts are paying off, and that the realization that it is a real species come out. But then on one side of me says that that might put them in more danger. More humans might want to try to get out in the woods and try to get a glimpse, or you're always going to have the idiots that want to go out there and shoot them, and that's not right. You shouldn't be able to shoot something or prove that it exists. You should be able to go out and study it like we're trying to do, and try to get the evidence so that you don't have to go out and shoot one.
There are a number of TV shows that are airing now that go out looking for Bigfoot. Do you think that these shows help or hinder true Bigfoot research?
Well, it's. I've been on Facebook, and you don't want to believe what you read online all the time. And the thing is, with the Finding Bigfoot, it's brought a lot more people out. It's gotten a lot more people interested in it. I think it's helped our research because we're getting more reports from different people, and it's helped. But as long as they do it in the right way, I think some of the stuff they do on the Finding Bigfoot, they had the caged monkey on one episode, and I think that's a bad sign. Look, we got a primate here. And if you are related to a primate, we're going to put you in a cage. It just doesn't make it doesn't make it look right with them.
Seems that time there's a lack of respect for the species itself.
Yeah, you have to be respectful with them. Yeah. That's it's a big plus, I'm sure, with them. And you're, like I said earlier, we're in their area. You're in their house.
That's right. What are some of the legends of your area pertaining to Bigfoot from the members of the First Nations?
We connect with the different Indians around the whole United States. We don't really have many legends that I've come across here in Colorado about it. It seems like you get stories from one area and they kind of correspond to different stories. So.
Okay, so when was the first sighting of Bigfoot in Colorado?
There was an old story back in the 1800s. Some miners, I do believe, up around the Cripple Creek area, were up mining, and a large, hairy man came out of the woods, and they shot at it, and it ran off, and they don't know whether they shot it or not, but that's one of the oldest ones that I have heard.
So nothing has changed over the time. If you don't know what it is, shoot it, kill it, and we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
It certainly is. Where would you like to... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Especially if it's another life form, there's no reason to try to go out and kill it if it doesn't.
Exactly.
It would have hurt people, all the time if they were out to hurt us, but they're not. It's trying to raise its family and live the best it can, and go about its day.
Exactly.
As easy as it can do it too.
Exactly. You don't see Bigfoot walking around with a gun shooting at hunters. I just find it, I have never seen the sense of hunting. Never. I maybe I'm wrong. To me, people who use guns to hunt are just, I don't know. I don't see any thrill in killing anything. Maybe that's Maybe that's just me, but if you're going out looking for a new species, or if you're going out to solve a mystery, you don't want to kill it. You want to, you want to prove its existence and treat it with the respect that I believe all living animals and creatures deserve.
That's why we don't carry any guns at all. We have bear mace, and I was growled at by one once, and I had my bear mace, and I had a camera, and I'd never seen what was growling at me, but it was a long growl, and you could feel it hitting my lungs.
Wow.
But I'd never seen what it was. I backed away, taking some pictures, but of course nothing came out. But I had my bear mace there, and as soon as it growled a second time, I knew that wasn't no bear, because nothing came walking at me. Whatever it was very close. It was behind some dense trees, but it never came out. So I let it be.
Jeff, stand by. You and I have to take our final break. Exonation Jeff Yelek's our special guest this hour. He's with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. Their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org, and we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents US per edition. And don't forget, the X Zone store is now open as well for all of your X Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. TWATNews.com. Explanation, Jeff Yelek's our guest. He is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. Their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. What are some tips you would have, Jeff, for people who are considering going into the woods to look for Bigfoot?
Well, go to the woods and do what you normally do. If you're campers, set up your camping equipment and just go out and be respectful about it. Don't carry guns. And our biggest thing here at SIR is we're going out and trying. It's hard not to point a camera at everything you hear.
Sure.
But we're trying to go out and not point the cameras at everything, every shadow that you see. You just go out and try to do your own thing. Me and my wife have a little radio. We listen to the radio and just kind of go out and be normal about it. But then go out and get you a couple rocks, get you a couple good sticks, and try a couple wood knocks, a couple rock clacks, and see what you can come up with. And if you get a reply, reply back and see if you can hold their interest for a while. We have areas where we leave little gifts out for them, little trinkets and little placement. We place out food from time to time, and every once in a while you might get lucky and I'll leave something for you.
Really? Like what?
We've handed out, gave them a jar of peanut butter, and we had the lid closed, and we had it marked in a certain location, and we left the peanut butter there, and we came back about a month later, and the peanut butter jar itself is gone, but the peanut butter lid was still there, and I have it on my office desk. But they left us a little pile of pine cones they had piled up and left in the empty lid of the peanut butter jar. But the peanut butter jar was never found.
Wow. So they left you a thank you gift.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
In your opinion,
kind of something that we.
In your opinion, Jeff, what are the biggest no-nos?
Don't go out with weapons, and don't try to go out and think that you're going to see one. Go out there and just try to look for something that's out of the ordinary, but just don't go out there and try to be really aggressive with them. You might find out there might be a mean one out there. Just go out as friendly as you can.
And of course, always respect private property.
Yes.
As well as the different laws, regulations that apply to the area in which you're camping, and always play safe. I would also imagine it's a good idea. It's a good idea to let people know in your family where you're going to be in case anything happens. You won't be alone.
Yes.
And bring a cell phone.
Yeah, have a good GPS to know where you're at, know where you're going, and if you've been there, you should be good. But always have a good way to call out for help if you need to.
Jeff,
we have walkies that we can get out with.
Right. Jeff, if our listeners would like to know more about Bigfoot, or if they would like to know more about your organization, what do they do?
Just go to our website, and we have you can log on to our different reports and leave your commentary at the end. And if you have any reports you'd like to share with us, leave an email message, and one of our investigators will get back to you and let you know more that we can do to help you out.
Jeff, thanks very much for joining us, and let us know if you come across any Bigfoot. We'd love to hear from you again.
Sure will. Thanks so much for being on the show.
It's my great pleasure, sir. Say hello to Teresa for me.
I sure will.
Bye-bye now. Exo Nation, Jeff Yelek has been our guest this hour. Jeff is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. Their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as the X-Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We'll be back after the news. Don't go away.